This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. So from time to time, I've talked about the QAnon ding-dongs. I've talked about the conspiracy network of dum-dums that are out there, the Lin Woods and the Michael Flynns and the QAnon shaman, Jacob Chansley, all of these clowns who believe just a network of bizarre, freakish things that are just, they defy reality. Even, I mean, there are all kinds of conspiracy theories out there. We didn't land on the moon, all these things. This one is like, involves Satan worship and ripping off babies' faces and drinking blood. And it is way out there, way out there. And now apparently there are recordings that Lin Wood has provided to The Independent of Michael Flynn, who is thick as thieves with these dum-dums, that he is purporting to have recordings of Michael Flynn saying, nah, I don't believe that. That's, I think he calls it left-wing distraction or something, which is going to be a bummer for the movement because he was like their star. I'm going to read a little bit from this Independent article. Michael Flynn heard admitting QAnon is nonsense in Lin Wood audio. Mr. Flynn's disavowal of QAnon is a major blow to the violent conspiracy movement. Former White House National Security Advisor and QAnon adherent Michael Flynn appears to now be claiming the right-wing conspiracy movement he publicly pledged allegiance to last summer is actually a disinformation campaign orchestrated by the Central Intelligence Agency. So he's disavowing a conspiracy theory and replacing it with another conspiracy theory. It's all brilliant. Believers in the online conspiracy movement, which first originated on internet message boards such as 8chan and has been classified as a national security threat by the FBI, hold that the U.S. government, most businesses, and the legitimate press have been captured by a global cabal of elite Satan-worshipping pedophiles led by top Democrats, which has taken the form of the deep state opposed by former President Donald Trump. Listen, if it wasn't so dangerous, and they weren't so dangerous, it would just be laughable. But it is not. There was a very high percentage of individuals who stormed the Capitol on the day of the insurrection who believed this nonsense, who were flying their Q flags and their where we go one, we go all, or whatever the hell their nonsense is. It was littered, just peppered throughout the flags that day of the insurrectionists. So if it weren't for the danger involved here, it would be just a goof, but it's not. Many QAnon supporters also believe that the late John F. Kennedy Jr., the attorney, magazine publisher, and son of assassinated President John F. Kennedy, faked his death in a plane crash and is secretly assisting Mr. Trump's efforts. Yeah, that's what they believe. A number of participants in the January 6th insurrection at the United States Capitol were believers in QAnon, including QAnon shaman Jacob Chansley, who received a 41-month sentence for his role in the worst attack on the U.S. legislature since the 1814 burning of Washington. Now, this is a British newspaper I'm reading from, The Independent. I wonder who burned Washington in 1814. Yeah, it was them. And it wasn't just an attack on the U.S. legislature. This was an attack on democracy itself. And by virtue of that, by extension of that, it was an attack on your vote. It was an attack on every American who cherishes democracy, not just an attack on the legislature. Mr. Flynn, a retired 3-star Army general who once helmed the Defense Intelligence Agency, infamously pledged allegiance to the conspiracy movement in a video he posted to Twitter in July 2020. In May, He spoke at a Dallas, Texas QAnon conference where he suggested that a Myanmar-style military coup should happen here in the United States. I've played that video. If you have not seen it, here it is again.
I'm a simple Marine. I want to know why what happened in Myanmar can't happen here.
You know, yeah, no reason. I mean, it should happen here. No reason. But that's right.
Former National Security Director, National Security Advisor, former Defense Intelligence Agency Director, saying that a Myanmar-style coup, military overtake of the country, is needed here in America. Dangerous and disgusting, un-American, anti-democratic. But the disgraced ex-Trump advisor appears to disavowed the movement during a telephone call with pro-Trump election conspiracy theorist and attorney Lin Wood, which Mr. Wood recorded and posted to his Telegram channel on Saturday. After a person whose voice sounds similar to other recordings of Mr. Wood said that QAnon had grown out of Flynn's online call for digital soldiers to wage war on the quote-unquote deep state to benefit Mr. Trump, another person whose voice sounds similar to Mr. Flynn replied, quote, "I think it's an information campaign that the CIA created. That's what I believe now. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I think it is." He later added that the conspiracy movement was total nonsense and called it a disinformation campaign created by the left. You know, all the lefties who run the CIA, who carried out a secret torture campaign. You know, all the leftists in the CIA. It just doesn't pass the smell test. But this is what happens when you traffic in conspiracy and lies and anti-democratic movements. They start fighting one another. They start hating one another. They turn on one another. This is what's happening. You made your bed, Mike Flynn. Enjoy the lumpiness, brother. Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. I appreciate you guys so much. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore just about everywhere. And if I bring you some value on a day-to-day basis, please consider supporting my work. For $1.99 a month, you can become a channel member here on YouTube, or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.